Well, we sure as hell ain't using these. We gotta find some replacements. Easier said than done. Well, let me tell you, the restoration of the CB160 from 1966 hit a bit of a roadblock trying to track down some suitable rear shocks. I tell you what, finding these rear shocks for a CB160 was like unobtainium in a lot of cases, man. This was brutal. I'm searching all over the internet trying to find parts. CMSNL had some parts, but man, look at this. The damper right here, almost $300 freaking dollars, and that's just this one part. You'd have to buy everything. So right away, I was like, nope, let's see what we're getting out here on the internet of things. So going out, searching, choices are pretty slim. I didn't find, during the time I was searching, a single pair of new old school or new old stock shocks at all. And they would have been pretty freaking expensive anyway. So heading over to eBay, taking a look, keeping an eye out. I set some reminders to be looking for things. And every once in a while, something would pop up like this. But I'm putting a lot of work into this bike, and that's just not really going to cut it. It really became kind of a frustrating topic, right? Whenever I would go and find something, there'd be cosmetic things, really bad, really wrong with everything. So, man, I just kind of kept going and started to do a little bit more research. In my search for the perfect replacement shock, I had to kind of pay attention to the details. I knew I needed kind of a round top with a smaller hole. I know I needed this. Chrome was going to be just fine if I could find that. And I was really paying attention to some of these dimensions over on these shocks as well, especially the overall length. The original shocks from end to end, right about 13 inches long. So I really had two criteria. I wanted a round top, just like that, and I needed this same connector here. They needed to be about 13 inches long. I got a lot of parts. I was kind of hopeful that I might find something that'll work. I have a whole bunch of nice CB350 shocks. Nope. Way too big, doesn't fit at all. 350s, out. I even started eyeing those shocks from my 1970 CB100. They might work, but nope, the lower bottom, that's not how it hooks up. Not gonna work. I was getting pretty desperate, and none of these original shocks that I have are worth putting on this beautiful bike. After several weeks went by where I'd pop in, pop out, try and keep an eye out for a good pair of shocks to show up on eBay, I decided to just roll the dice and take a gamble, all right? This is what I ended up getting. I figured they gotta be close. The connectors on the bottom would work for this application here, okay? And it does have the round top that I'm looking for to keep it looking as accurate as possible. Now, these were made for a CB125 or a 175. I'm working on a CB160, so maybe they're gonna be close. Price tag's not cheap, $140. And unfortunately, there was not a lot of detail that went along with these, okay? And, you know, that's about it. But I did have some numbers here that I could start to look at to see if we could possibly make this work. Having that 335 millimeter measurement was really, really key because I was able to take, you know, that 13-inch length that I had and convert that to millimeters and got me to 330, right? So to me, that was close enough. So I went and ordered these things. It took a hot minute. It took a few weeks for these things to arrive, but eventually they got here. Eventually, a package showed up. The shocks were packed pretty well, and they came without a scratch. So here's what showed up. A really nice chrome shock, exactly the same length, or at least really, really close. And, you know, everything was looking pretty good. Looks pretty close, right? Flip it over on this end. Let's take a look at our connectors. This is definitely a little bit wider, but I'll be able to shim that. And yeah, I think I can make this work, okay? And let me tell you, it can be done, but you do have to make some modifications, get a little creative to get these mounted to the swing arm. Let's go through every step of the process to get these shocks mounted. First issue I had to tackle is make sure that these things are gonna fit on our mounting point here. And wouldn't you know, it's way too small. So let's try drive out this little metal bushing inside here. So I just grabbed a flathead screwdriver and started to push this metal piece out one side. I really wasn't that worried about getting rid of the metal piece because the originals just were rubber contact on that post. And once you're able to wrestle that out, I went back to the bike to see if that was going to fit. And no. Now it's way too big. All right. So I'm obviously going to have to find a new rubber bushing of the right diameter. That popped out of there. Super easy. I went digging through all of my junk, and here's what I found. I found a shock absorber rubber bushing that actually fits perfect. And just so you know, it's 12 millimeters. That's what you're looking for. You need a 12 millimeter diameter hole to mount to that upper shock mount. I think one interesting nuance to look for your bushings is that they are a little bit concave. So when you put those in, they're not going to come rattling out. Getting this new one on, it wasn't the most fun experience, but eventually I got it in there. A little bit of gentle persuasion with my vise. I actually popped that thing on there pretty easy. And feeling all victorious, I was like, yeah, it'll slide right on. Nope. A little bit tight because it is compressed inside the middle. So I went and got a 12 millimeter drill bit. Oh, and I did try. I removed one of these from the original shock and tried it in that spot. It was too small. So with my 12 millimeter drill bit, I just carefully drilled this out. Didn't need much. And back to the bike, and I've got a nice snug fit on that new bushing. So I was feeling pretty victorious with the top end of it, but now I had to start taking a look at this. All right, so the original width to go to the lower section is 18.3, and these shocks are quite a bit wider at 21.5 almost. I thought to myself, no big deal, that's what washers are for. All right, but then I went and got my mounting bolt for this part. On the original, it's got a nice threaded section right here like that, okay? And then I go to this, and number one, it's too damn short. And look at this huge gaping hole. This hole on this side of the shock is way bigger than this. So I had to come up with a solution to get a new bolt and also fill in this gap a little bit. So first things first, head over to the hardware store, go grab myself a little bit longer shouldered bolt. Okay, so this is gonna work. I can always cut this down, so I got more length than I need on that. But this was the real challenging part. I have no idea what angel dropped this part into my bucket of randoms. But look at this. Look at how amazing this is. In this bigger spot, that darn thing pops right in there, okay? It just needs a little bit of modification. Let me measure this hole for you real quick, just so you know what kind of a gap you're gonna need to fill. Just for reference, on these Thailand replacements, you're gonna need something at 11.8. And I will be the first to admit that this was one of the luckiest finds ever. First things first, need to grind this down nice and flat on this side. And after a little bit of grinding, I had myself a nice flat surface. See, there we go. And now that's gonna fill that gap, just like that. It don't get much better than that, man. But we do have this little issue here. I gotta trim the inside here. So I just went and clamped this into the vise, went and got my hacksaw, and just kind of got that up along the edge. Started to do a nice, slow, even cut. And with that cut, nice and flush, back to the grinding wheel to get rid of any burrs. And with that part all nice and cleaned up, I can go ahead and pop that in. And we got a perfect mount to fill up that little gap. And now we just need to make sure that we've got the right threads on everything as we move through here, all right? So take this off, and let's see. I was not right on, because there are little threads inside of that. See that? Might just drill that out. Let's see. So I went and got the appropriate tapping tool, added just a little bit of oil, and I just slowly started cutting a new set of threads into this piece. This took a little bit of time, just making sure everything stayed nice and straight as I tapped this for the appropriate threads. And with the new threads tapped, I was able to go and test these threads with my bolt. And sure enough, absolutely perfect. So now that I've got that piece all good to go, I can go ahead, drop this on there, just like this, get my bolt, and a couple other things here. All right, so here's what we're kind of looking at. We're going to go with the big hole side. We're going to put our spacer in here, okay? This is going to be on the inside of the bike. And then we're going to take our locking washer and a washer. And then the trickiest part of this, honestly, is getting one washer in on the inside here as you install it, because it's just a little wider. See, take a look here. It's a little bit wider. There's a little bit of play in there, but it's just about the width of one washer. So let's see if we can get this going together here, all right? So this should all slide in good. I'm going to slide in this little washer right in between on the inside. This is kind of the trickiest part, is just getting that all to line up. But once you get it, it should slide together pretty easily. There we go, just like that. Push that through like that. And that's what it's going to kind of look like. I can take my spacer now. I can actually back this out a little bit. And then I should be able to get this going on here, to thread this piece on like this. Just like that. And this is going to suck it all together here eventually. All right. And then our clearance is the other piece. So I'm going to put another locking washer on this side. And I got a really flat as possible nut on this as well. I am going to go ahead and apply red Loctite. Big taboo, right? Using red Loctite. But I don't want this thing coming off. So I can always heat it up if I need to take it off again. I'm going to go ahead and do red Loctite on this part right here. And then we'll be able to cinch this all together. And then it's really just a matter of tightening this stuff all up. In this case, it ended up being 13 millimeter to get all this stuff together. So you can see here, our last little thing we're going to need to do is to trim this bolt. Your tire is kind of riding right in here, and we got limited space happening here. So as close as you possibly can. That's why I use the red Loctite there. So I'm going to go get my hacksaw and cut these off. And then I'll just clean up my cut a little bit with a file. And again, just get rid of any burrs. You know what? I think that's a pretty clean install. And I've got double locking, triple locking power going on here. I really don't think this bolt is going to be coming out anytime soon. Look how nice and clean that came out, man. That's a real pro job right there. So there you go. I made it work. And I will say that the digital caliper came in really handy for this, to figure out all those little dimensions and things to make sure everything fit nice and snug. Let me know in the comments what you think of this fix. Did I miss anything? I don't know. I'm feeling pretty good about it. And I think these shocks from Thailand that aren't even intended for a CB160 are going to work out just fine. Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on the video. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit that hype button as well. Go ahead and visit the Keep On Wrenching Amazon store if you need any materials or anything like that. And be sure to find us on Facebook as well, the Keep On Wrenching community group on Facebook. And if you want a free sticker, head on over to keeponwrenching.com. All right, everybody. We'll see you in the next video or live stream.